Hi everyone, my name is Natalie, long time no see again. This year has not been the best in terms of regular video making. That is definitely something I have in mind for next year. I need to find a routine with it, but now I am off for the Christmas holidays and I thought that I would try to get into the swing of things and starting off with a more chatty, casual kind of catch up / currently reading. I'm not going to make this too long because I just kind of want to say hi and talk a little bit about what I'm doing at the moment and all of that. So, like I said, I am currently on my Christmas holiday break. I worked my last day for the semester on the 15th of December and today it is Tuesday, so just in the beginning of the holiday break, and I'm off for 3 weeks, which is fantastic. I feel very lucky to be able to take so much time off. So I am planning to just do a lot of knitting and reading. Hopefully I have been reading quite a lot and knitting as I often do. Like that is not anything particular to the break, but I have been really enjoying just taking a very calm and relaxing time. I will also be doing a lot of Christmas baking and that kind of thing, which I love to do anyway, and I feel like I have more time to do that this year. This year has been both in terms of video making, like I said, it has been sporadic, and I think the reason for that is just the carving out the time to create videos has been requiring more time than I've been willing to give it. But I also really enjoy this conversation and being part of the community and talking with you regularly. A lot of the people who comment on my videos are people I really enjoy having conversations with regularly, and so I do definitely miss that when I'm not actively doing these videos. I want to get back to that and want to get better at it again this next year. I think I will also make this week a reading goals to revisit and the new plans for next year because it's been on my mind, and I usually put these videos up earlier, usually around November time. I feel like I tend to do the reading goals, revisit and look ahead, but this year I'm just kind of slow with all of the things, so I do want to get that up soonish, probably in the next few days. And yeah, as well as the video thing, I've also been reading very sporadically throughout the year, but these last few weeks I have found that I've fallen into a way of reading that is very much how I want my next year of reading to be, and that is to read much more based on mood. Another thing I've been doing a lot is to buddy read, and I've been buddy reading with Ollie and with Amelia. I will put links to their channels and Instagram accounts. I've been reading Nana, the manga by Ayazawa with Ollie, and it's been really fun rereading experience. I read these volumes when I was a teenager, and I have revisited them sometime since then, but it's been a long time. So it's really fun to look with a new perspective, to return to them, and also to see how Ollie is experiencing these, having read them for the first time now. So really enjoying that. We also read during Nonfiction November The Lost Pianos of Siberia by Sophie Roberts, and this was also a really fun buddy reading experience because we read one chapter a day and checked in every day, and just really enjoyed the experience of reading through it and discussing it every day, which is probably not something that is doable for every book, but it was really fun. And then I buddy read Long Live the Posthorn by Vigdis Hjort with Amelia, and also really enjoyed reading through this together. We had really interesting conversations about it. We also read Amelia, Ollie and I read Autumn by Ali Smith very recently as well. So I've been doing a lot of buddy reads with those two, and that has really been a main the core reading I've been doing in the last few weeks. I have also read some other things, like I've been obsessively reading Heartstopper. So I read volume 1, 2, and 3 very close together, and I have volume 4 out from the library, which I will be reading soonish. Kind of wanting to save it for the 5th, which is gonna take a while to get to me. I'm on the waiting list through the library, and the queue is very long. So I suspect it will take a while for my spot to come through, but I'm really enjoying the Heartstopper graphic novels. I think my first reaction to it was that the style is so very typical of a online comic or a web comic that it's kind of less refined than I'm used to in printed graphic novels. And so the pacing and the style, the art style was a bit strange for me at first, because like I said, it's not the type that I'm used to in a printed form. And so I wasn't sure if I was going to get on with it, especially because I do really enjoy the live action adaptation of it, which I have watched. I watched the first season several times. I rewatched them several times, and I watched the second season when it came out this autumn, and I have been missing it so much that was the reason I decided to pick up the graphic novels. But I did really find that it grew on me, and now I'm obsessed. So I think there's a lot of interesting differences from the graphic novels in comparison to the adaptation. Of course, there's a lot of similarities, like there's several lines that is exactly the same, which, I mean, that's fine. But there are some things that are different, like, for example, Isaac is not a character in at least not the first few volumes, which was slightly disappointing to me because he is one of my favorite characters in the TV show. I love him. He's my Ace Arrow rep that I've always wanted. So I was really happy with his character in the TV show, and he's not present in the graphic novel. So that's a shame. And I feel like the dynamics in the friend group is different as well. Like you don't see as much you don't get to know the other characters as well as you do in the TV show. However, you do get more close on with Nick and with Charlie, and I think that is also one of the reasons that there's more nuance to those two characters in the books. In particular, I reacted to Charlie's trauma and the way that Nick picks up on that in a more nuanced way in comparison to the TV show. So yeah, really enjoying the books. I do love the TV show still, and I want to rewatch through those when I've finished reading the 4th volume. I also, speaking of queer cinema and books, I also rewatched Call Me By Your Name a few weeks ago, and I'm realizing that it's definitely one of my favorite movies. I think it's just spectacularly done. The director, Luca something, I've not enjoyed any of these other movies that I've seen yet, and I don't get the sense that I would enjoy the other movies that I haven't seen, but I think that Call Me By Your Name is just such a fantastic movie. The direction, like the cinematography, the acting, the way that the relationship is conveyed, I just think is beautifully done. So I decided to pick up the book that it was based on, the one by Andre Aciman, I want to say, and so I'm planning to read that very soon as well, hopefully during the holiday break. But yeah, so that's some of the things that I've been reading in the last few weeks, and I will do another catch-up wrap-up video, one or two, to talk about the books that I've been reading that I haven't yet talked about. A lot of picture books, some comics and graphic novels and manga, and some other bits and bobs. So like I mentioned a few of the ones that I've been reading recently. I will talk more about them in depth in the catch-up wrap-up. So hopefully that will come in the near future, and my reading goals videos. That's the plan. That's what I hope to get out soon. I have considered making a kind of knitting recap of the year as well. Maybe just a short video talking about what I've been knitting this year, and the patterns and how my thoughts on the patterns themselves, and maybe even some plans for next year. Let me know if there's any interest for that, and I will keep that in mind. But yeah, I realized that I've actually created quite a few garments this year. So one of the things that I finished off very recently is this cardigan. It's the Albini cardigan, and I had actually finished knitting it quite a while ago, but then I never got around to blocking it and sewing on the buttons. So that was the thing that was just waiting, and I did not necessarily enjoy the process of knitting on the buttons, and blocking is always such a time-consuming thing. Not necessarily that the blocking process itself is time-consuming, but the waiting is consuming, and so I often end up putting that off. But I'm really happy with it. So yeah, let me know if there's any interest in that knitting related recap and look ahead for things, for projects for next year. I definitely have a few things that I would like to finish off, like current whips, and also some things that I want to create that I haven't started yet. So yeah, I think that was what I wanted to say in terms of like general catch up. I'm on my holiday break now. I have been I've been catching up with Belinda's vlogs, Vlogmas. Belinda from Belinda's Book Nook, I will put a link to her channel in the description. She has been doing vlogs for the Christmas season, and I've really been enjoying watching them and having them in the background while I've been doing other things. So that is something I really have been enjoying. I've also been watching a few Christmas movies, like I have just rewatched Monsters Club, which is not a Christmas movie, but it's one of my favorite movies, and it's winter themed, so it counts. I am currently watching Silent Night, which I haven't finished, but I'm still watching, and it's weird. Much weirder than I anticipated. And what else have I been watching? A lot of the classics, like The Grinch, Home Alone, Eight Femmes, or Eight Women, and yeah, a few other things. I also have a Letterboxd account where I obviously log all of the movies that I watch, which movie watching is definitely one of my other hobbies that I don't talk about as often on this channel, but it's in addition to reading and knitting, is probably one of the biggest hobbies that I have. So if you're interested and you're a movie fan, or a cinephile, I think that's the word, and you're interested in what I've been watching, I will put a link to my Letterboxd account profile in the description, and feel free to add me there. And yeah, so let's get into the currently reading section of this video, which is already so rambly. So I am very much doing a Tolkien thing. So I am rereading The Lord of the Rings through the audiobooks narrated by Andy Serkis. I just can't believe that he's the one doing all of the voices in this audiobook, because I'm just so like I feel completely immersed in it, and I forget that it's the same voice doing all of these things. I can visualize them so clearly and so distinctively as individual people, that I'm just taken away by the fact that he has done such a fantastic job with the narration. So if you have been thinking of listening to these versions of the audiobooks, I would strongly recommend them. I am still on the Fellowship of the Ring. It's going to be a slow reread, and yeah, I'm enjoying it. I am realizing that I'm remembering a lot more than I thought I did. So that's nice, that the sort of the familiarity is perfect for reading this year, I feel like. Just to have that as a constant companion, especially when I'm knitting and baking and stuff like that. It's nice to have something that isn't requiring as much attention because it's familiar. But yeah, I'm really enjoying the Lord of the Rings reread. I will probably be rereading the first one throughout the holiday break, and then we'll see if I continue on through the trilogy or if I leave the other ones for next season, for the autumn or something like that. So yeah, I'm reading that. I'm also for the Christmas period, I'm reading Letters from Father Christmas, and edited by Bailey Tolkien. And this is such a beautiful edition. So obviously it's written by Tolkien. He wrote letters from Father Christmas to his kids when they were little, and he did illustrations, like illustrations of Father Christmas or where he lived, and of the big polar bear that was his companion and associate, and he even made like stamps themselves, and this is a collection of those letters in text as well as the original letters like this. The letters, the envelopes, as well as like the stamps. I don't know if you can see anything. And some of the illustrations, like, he's such a fantastic artist as well, and I feel like he doesn't get enough credit for that. Yeah, so this is a nice companion to read. I'm just reading a few letters every now and then as a side thing, but I will probably sit down with this every evening going forward this week. And then I'm also just started JRR Tolkien by Humphrey Carpenter, and this is obviously a biography of him. I'm just at the beginning, like I said, so I've read some of the background for his family, like his parents, and I didn't realize how little contact he had with his own father, and how he died very early on, and they had not really spent that much time together in his life. And right now I'm at the point where they talk about Tolkien's early interest in linguistics, and obviously I'm also very much a person who loves language learning. A lot of you know this already, and it's one of my big passions that I've always had throughout my life. I started studying Japanese very early on, and have been studying languages on and off since then. And so I really like that aspect of his interest and curiosity, and how he was so interested in the sound of language, not necessarily in the contents of what words meant, but in the melody of words, and how he was very drawn to Latin specifically. So really enjoying this. I'm listening to this on audio as well. I'm probably going to be switching back and forth between the audio and the physical copy, just to be able to annotate stuff and things. So yeah, so that is my Tolkien reading at the moment. I'm enjoying having this kind of project reading where everything is sort of combined and from different angles. Another book that recently arrived in the mail that is a book but also isn't a book is The Gods We Can Touch by Aurora. So This is one of my favorite artists. She is a musician, and this book is basically like her journals from the creation of this album, The Gods We Can Touch, which is one of my favorite albums, and she was in my top 5 most listened artists of the year. I've been obsessively listening to her for a while now, and like I said, it's the lyrics, the various things that she's been thinking about in the creation of these songs. So it's kind of like a commonplace book, I think. Some things specifically related, like the lyrics and the songs themselves. Some of it just more like inspiration things. But I do really want to dive into this in the near future. I feel like this would be the perfect thing to read that wouldn't require too much attention in the lead up to Christmas. So yeah, this, as I said, just arrived. Very excited about that. Another book that had just recently arrived in the mail and that I really want to start at least soon is this. Okay, so this is just the first volume. It's 2 volumes. I'm not gonna lift them both up because they look the same. But this is Framöver Polarhavet. I'm not sure what the English title is. It's by Fridtjof Nansen. Fridtjof Nansen is a well-known polar explorer. I'm fairly certain he was Norwegian, and this is a Swedish edition from the 1890s. This is his memoirs, as I said, in 2 volumes. Basically, it's about his adventures and travels of polar exploring, and I was just kind of in the mood to pick this one up because it was mentioned in, I don't know if this particular book was mentioned, but his writings were mentioned in Lost Pianos of Siberia. I think he wrote I think he wrote another book specifically on Siberia, and that is the reason that I came across his name there, but I hadn't realized that he had written books, so that is the thing that led me down the rabbit hole of finding this one out. And yeah, like I said, polar expeditions plus like the turn of the century things is very much my jam, and also I'm really interested in Scandinavian history and reading more Scandinavian literature in general, especially interesting with nonfiction. So I think this will be a lot of fun. It's not a particularly convenient copy to read, so it's going to be perfect for the holiday break when I can just lay this out on the table and read it very slowly and carefully, not really traveling around with this one. So yeah, so that is what I'm currently reading and some of the things that I have on my horizon. I'm also listening to another audiobook, but it's kind of paused at the moment. It's The Last Stop by someone. I will put a picture on the screen, and I'm not loving it. I read the Red, White and Royal Blue earlier in the autumn season and really enjoyed that, and I wanted to read more queer romance, and so I picked up The Last Stop because it was one of the other titles that I'd heard a lot of people really enjoy, and the fantasy element of it was surprising, and I'm not sure that I love it, and the voice in it didn't grab me as much, so we'll see. I think I'm 45% into it. I'm probably gonna finish it off because it's not very difficult to read. It's engaging enough, but it's not a favorite, so we'll see if it turns around. But yes, I'm also reading that. So that is really all I've been reading and what I have on my horizon. I would love to know if you have been reading anything in particular, especially if it's like Christmas related, or if you have any other books that you've been saving for the holiday break. Are you already on your holiday break? Do you have any fun plans for the next few days and weeks of the year? And I think that was all I wanted to say. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Bye.